Hey there, legendary souls. Today, I wanted to read an excerpt from The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonya Renee Taylor. And I read this book recently, and the calls to action that she offers are confronting and poignant and beautiful. And I definitely feel like through reading this book, I have a deeper sense of self-love. So, highly recommend. It's a very radical approach to self-love, but I highly recommend. The excerpt that I want to read is not as confronting. It's actually very hopeful and beautiful. It says, "What you pay attention to grows. If our collective focus becomes love, and the notion that every human being in every imaginable form deserves a world where they can love and be loved in the bodies they have today, and if the definition of love is one that includes resource, care, compassion, justice, and safety for all bodies, just imagine what we might grow together." So it feels like this excerpt really spoke to me, and because it offers us a new world. It offers us to think of something that is yet unrealized or unimagined in many spheres. And so I want to do this reading around this excerpt. So we'll say a prayer, shuffle up, and we'll get into it. Divine alchemist, angels and archangels, well ancestors for my highest good, well ancestors for the viewer's highest good, spirit animals on our journeys with us, we thank you so much for being with us, for always being with us. And we thank you so much for aligning our intentions, our minds, and our hearts to be here together at this time. I ask that this reading gets to be one where we're discovering something new, especially as it pertains to body positivity, where there is an aspect of safety and justice and compassion and care and resource. Please support the words that I say, the ways that I view the cards, the interpretations that arise, and support the viewer in exercising their discernment and hearing what they need to hear and receiving what is for their highest good and leaving anything that doesn't resonate. Thank you so much for all that you've done, all that you're currently doing, and all that you're going to do in service of these intentions. Thank you so much for your support and your continued presence in all of our lives. Ashe. We have the Eight of Cups as our first card out. And to clarify, we have the King of Coins. Yeah. So when I see the Eight of Cups, I often think of the two phrases walking away from something and also walking towards something. And since we're focused on the future and we're focused on something new for our collective, something that has to do with the world that we each deserve in terms of loving ourselves and loving our bodies, the question I had was, what are we walking towards? We have the King of Coins. A deeper focus on abundance, less of a focus on lack. One of the aspects of this book that I really appreciated were the calls to action around fighting ableism, fighting fat phobia, and really just having a deeper awareness of the ways that we've been conditioned through our society to comment on our own bodies and to comment on the bodies of others in ways that perpetuate so many isms. And so, what could it be like to see a fat body or disabled body, to see rolls, to see dimples, to see cellulite as just, this is what it is? From a place of acceptance, what could it be like to see it as beautiful? What could it be like to sit in spaces and postures of curiosity? Like, oh, how does this person with this body move? You know, when we're thinking of things like dance, how does this body move? When we're thinking of movement practices like yoga, what feels good for this body? If we're even going to comment or have really any interest in another body, right? Like, or our own. How does this body like to move? What does it feel like? I think that feeling, with this Eight of Cups here, feeling into things is likely a part of this abundance framework for body positivity in this future that we're all creating. We have the Eight of Wands, so another 8. This is fast-moving energy, this is manifestations, this is momentum, progress. How interesting, the Seven of Pentacles. To have the Eight of Wands, which is fast-moving energy, next to the Seven of Pentacles, which is patience and waiting for things to manifest. So, emotionally, our collective might be ready to view ourselves with more body positivity. In terms of our actions, we might be able to practice this level of awareness. We might be able to have moments where we can practice curiosity, to feel into things. However, experiencing the manifestation of it all, experiencing it as our shared reality, experiencing it as a consistent reality, might still take some time. We might definitely still be in process around this. And the Six of Cups. So this way of viewing ourselves, this new way of viewing ourselves and talking about ourselves and talking about others, if we're even gonna talk about others, right? It gets to honor our inner child. Do you remember when you were a kid and not a preteen, not a tween, but a kid, like younger than 10, younger than 9, younger, maybe even than 8 years old? Do you remember at any point in your childhood thinking about your body in a self-conscious way? You might not have a memory of that. It might have been more like, this is what my body can do. I can run, I can jump, or I'm trying to learn this skill with my body, like riding a bike or roller skating, or my body helps me swing when I kick my legs, or I throw my body into the ball pit at this, game zone, or I push my body down the water slide at a water park, or I wish that my body was taller so I could ride that roller coaster at the theme park. When we were kids, for many of us, our relationships to our body weren't inundated yet by society as much. For some of us developed earlier than we would have liked. Some of us, some of us had roles and thickness and height, or were short, or people compared us to others, quite a bit. So there may have been self-consciousness for you if that was part of your journey. There is a wish, even if this was a part of your journey, there is maybe a desire that you had as a kid to just get to be, especially if gender, non-binary gender, not being on either of the polarities that the society recognizes, has been a part of your experience in any way. Just to be a being might have been a wish of yours. And so imagine what it could be like to speak about your body now, to think about your body now, to move with your body now in ways that support and encourage and make your inner child and your past self, your past little one, proud. What could it be like to talk about your body as that feels good, that doesn't feel good? Wow, my body can stretch in this way this morning. Or, oh, I'm noticing that I can't stretch to this extent today. I'm noticing pain here. I'm noticing pleasure there. This feels good. This touch feels good. That touch doesn't. What if it could just be that simple again? I like that for us. I like that possibility. We have the Three of Wands. So much wand energy. The Three of Wands typically is a card around travel and expansion. So this progress of thinking about ourselves and practicing these levels of mindfulness and awareness of just what feels good and what doesn't so much, without that judgment, without all of the conditioning and all of the judgment and all of the critique that we've ingested and inherited over our lifetimes and over generations. How exciting for us to just get to expand, to just get to enjoy. And look at that, the Nine of Cups. Feels like it's confirming that enjoyment. For there to be contentment with this focus on abundance, focusing on what our bodies are abundant in, focusing on what our bodies do well, focusing on what feels good for us, focusing on being grateful that we have pain receptors and we can notice pain, focusing on that our bodies communicate with us so we can tell when we don't feel well, because that information means that we can do something about it. We can rest, we can ask for support, we can resource ourselves, we can ask for care, we can care for ourselves. And we have the Sun. So much positivity and so much appreciation for our bodies is available to us if we practice it, if we intend for it. Ooh. Time for adventure. Turn waiting into living. Be spontaneous. Try new things. If not now, when? So if there's anything that you've been curious about when it comes to your body, maybe there's a certain yoga practice that you're interested in. For me, it's yin yoga. I'm very intrigued by yin yoga right now, especially because it's winter time here right now, and I'm just like, it's a yin season. What could yin yoga be like? So that's something that I intend to try, a new thing that I intend to try with my body. Maybe you're interested in aerial yoga. Maybe you're interested in gymnastics. Maybe you're interested in stretching more. Maybe you're interested in going for walks or picking up running. Maybe you're interested in allowing your body more rest. Maybe you're interested in trying different meditative postures or finding mudras for your hands that really resonate with you. Maybe you're interested in getting a Reiki certification. There are hand movements and symbols there too with energy healing. Maybe it's about exploring what it feels like to exist within your body. You know, for the healing journey, oftentimes with trauma, we get cut off from our body as a whole, or we get cut off from parts of ourselves. And on the healing journey, there are times in the healing journey where we're trying to reconnect with ourselves. We're trying to return to our bodies. And then with enough practice, we're trying to stay in our bodies even when difficult things come up, even when difficult feelings come up, even when things don't go the way that we expect or the way that we want, even when we're disappointed or we feel anger or we feel neglected, abandonment, betrayal, or anything that feels similar to those feelings that maybe are connected to our traumas. And if that's your desire right now, or if that's a journey that you're already on, I just want to acknowledge you. It is not easy. It is not easy at all, but it is also so rewarding to come back to ourselves, to have spaces in our life and people in our life that feel safe enough for us to practice being with ourselves. Maybe you want more alone time, and you want alone time and quality alone time to feel nourishing. Maybe you're curious about what it feels like, the restlessness that you feel in your body, and how you can channel that energy or how you can sit with that energy. Maybe you're curious about how anxiety shows up for you, nervousness, about what happens within you when you shut down or you get triggered. Maybe you're curious about your relationship to mindful eating, or you want to introduce more mindfulness or intuition into what you ingest, when you ingest, how you do, and what you nourish yourself with. All of these things are potential new journeys that you could go on with your body. But whatever it is, if not now, when? Right? It's time for a new adventure with your body. We are one. Look up at the moon. The same moonlight connects us all. In the end, we are more similar than we are different. We're in this together. I love this card coming out because as we were doing this reading, I noticed several times that I said, if we're going to comment on someone else's body. And as I said it, I was like, it just feels wrong. It just does. It just feels wrong. So I grew up in an African household, a Nigerian household to be specific. And I think that this is something in terms of this particular culture, but also maybe connected to immigrants, maybe more generally. There is this intense relationship to survival, and survival is connected to nourishing yourself, right? Eating. And so growing up, anyone, so the aunties, the uncles, the play cousins, anybody, usually the adults, but anybody would just comment on someone's body and comment in terms of saying, oh, you got fat. It'd always be a matter-of-fact statement. Sometimes people would be pinched. Sometimes people would be poked, prodded. Sometimes it would come across as concern, but usually it was more like mockery, like a slight tinge of mockery. And that's awkward, you know? It's awkward to receive from anyone that they're experiencing, witnessing, perceiving that you have added weight to your body or even taken weight off. And I say it for the taking weight off because even though this culture is so celebrant of us having less weight on our bodies, sometimes people are losing weight due to illness or grief. Sometimes people are adding weight due to illness or grief. Sometimes people are adding weight due to joy. Sometimes people are releasing weight due to healing. We really never know. And so these comments that can come in so flippantly and with such lack of consideration, I feel like they're not necessary in the world that we're saying we're creating through this reading and through this excerpt. So I'm going to challenge myself not to comment on my body in terms of I've put on weight or taken weight off. I'm going to challenge myself not to comment even in that really quick way, or to notice at least if I do, of other people's bodies, of how they look or what I'm perceiving about them, because it's none of my business. And I want to challenge you to do the same for others and for yourself. First of all, just notice if you are thinking that way about other people, if you are thinking that way about yourself. And if you do, try to do so with the least amount of judgment as you can, because you're on a learning journey, you're in a process. And the shame doesn't help us grow. It doesn't. And especially when it comes to you. So if you're looking in the mirror at yourself, name something that you do like instead of something that feels like a problem area or something that you wish was different. Focus on what is cute about you. Focus on what you're proud of. Focus on what your body does well. And it doesn't just have to be this aesthetic. It can be how it feels. It can be, wow, look at this muscle here. When I flex, that's sexy, if it is going to be aesthetic, right? Or look at that roll. Look at how that roll cascades. It falls so nicely over this tank top I'm wearing. What could it be like to speak in affirming ways about you and your body? So this reading feels complete to me. I hope it does to you as well. And I hope you received something good here and nourishing and powerful. And we'll pause here and we'll try to keep up the momentum. We'll see how Spirit can continue to support this momentum that I feel to keep posting. And I'll catch you in the future. Take really good care of yourself. Bye.